Have you been considering moving to Denver, Colorado, or honestly just curious about what all the chatter is about? Well, I have you covered. In this video, we will touch on a number of pros and cons that a true potential resident would want to consider before moving. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help my channel tremendously. If you are curious who the heck I am and why I'm making this video, well, my name is 𝐃𝐈�9. I am a realtor in the Denver metro area, and I help buyers and sellers just like yourself hone in on specific areas in Colorado and make sure they do their due diligence before making that move. Feel free to reach out anytime. You can use my social links listed down below. I will go ahead and jump right into it. Pros of living in Denver. Number 1, the Mile High City is best known for being situated at the base of the Rocky Mountains. It's also a thriving city with culture and a feel all its own. There's no denying that living in Denver means constant exposure to not only beautiful landscapes, but also a large backdrop of the Rocky Mountains. But it gets better. You'll have access to incredible nature while getting all the perks of the major city, just like our amusement parks, public parks, breweries, great restaurants, and ample shopping. Not to mention the rich history of the city, which is celebrated through rodeos, such as the National Western Stock Show, and a ton of culture you'll find here and truly can't miss. Admittedly, the beauty is one of the first things that many people are drawn to Denver for. We have 200 breathtaking mountain peaks and more than 100 panoramic miles of stunning vistas. Denver is truly a beautiful city and a sight to see. Number 2, Colorado is a nature's lover's paradise. Touching on the last point, living in Denver is guaranteed to satisfy your need if you're a nature lover. You don't need to leave the city limits to get the feel of outdoor adventure. You can not only bike paths all over the city, including my personal favorite, Cherry Creek Trail. And if you're into it, we also have water sports, which is pretty cool. The point is, regardless of what you consider your ideal adventure or ideal weekend venture, there's something for everyone when you move out to Denver. Everything from world-class climbing, excellent hiking, skiing, you name it. We're actually known to play host to a lot of pros and amateur athletes. When they move to Denver initially, they come here because of the access to the outdoors and the recreation aspect of living in the outdoors. Number 3, we have constant sunshine. One of the biggest perks of living in Denver is not having to plan around bad weather. Denver has really kind of desert landscape, but we do get more sunshine per year than most U.S. cities. In fact, Denver averages 245 days on average of sunshine per year, exceeding the national average of 205 days. The sunshine continues even through the winter and cold months, which makes for a more enjoyable winter. Number 4, the cost of living in Denver is really reasonable. Make no mistake, Denver has still a pretty heated housing market, and there's no denying that, but the large overall cost of living in Denver, it is still rather reasonable compared to other U.S. cities. Keep in mind, housing will take the biggest chunk of your change, with the average home starting at $600,000. In addition to pricey housing market, Denver's rent prices have also been booming. Rent prices for Denver have risen 16% over the past year. Currently, the median rent stands at $1,474 for a 1-bedroom and $1,806 for a 2-bedroom. Outside of housing, though, the cost of essentials such as gas, utilities, groceries, and entertainment still lag pretty far behind some really big cities. For example, similar expenses in San Francisco can run up twice as much, as well as our healthcare here is 17% lower than the national average. Number 5, Denver is a great city for millennials. We have an influx of new residents streaming into Denver constantly, and a large portion of that is young people, which has resulted in blossoming art and a hell of a food scene, if I don't say so myself. You'll find a ton of activities that cater to millennials, such as breweries, restaurants, small local shops, and some really badass street art. 23% of our population consists of millennials, making it one of the best cities for millennials in the country. So if you're looking for a city with a young and hip attitude, and one that is open to many types of lifestyles, Denver may be it for you. Number 6, we have a thriving beer and food scene. Denver's food scene has been pretty up and coming for some time now, And as more people come and food entrepreneurs move in, the number of quality restaurants will only continue to grow. Denver also has one of the largest craft beer scenes in the nation, with more than 150 craft breweries operating within city limits. Number 7, snowy winters. You're probably not surprised to learn that Denver gets some pretty intense snowy winters. On average, we see around 55 inches of snowfall per year, depending on how close to the mountains you are. I would say that can definitely change. So if you're a fan of having all 4 seasons, living in Denver will totally suit you. It's also worth mentioning, if you plan to move to Denver long term, it may be useful to pick up a winter sport or two just to make the winter go by a little bit faster. Number 8, Denver is located within a day's drive to some pretty epic places, especially for those who enjoy world-class sports, just like mountain climbing. In fact, if you love the mountain, you're within about a day's drive of 58 mountain peaks, reaching a total of 14,000 feet. If you get tired of the mountains, not only does Denver, believe it or not, have beaches, but we also have a ton of swimming holes you can also experience, as well as some desert landscapes within a short drive out of town. Number 9, we have one hell of a job market. As a young city, Denver is on the leading edge of the technology and plays host to many giant tech companies just like Google, Lockheed Martin. For those out in tech, the combination of booming economy and a lower cost of living can totally make Denver a very attractive choice. This expanding tech market contributes to Colorado's rank as number 12 among states with the highest median income, and we're only going to see more. Number 10, sports. We are definitely a sports culture. If you're a fan of a pro or honestly even amateur sports, you'll never lack entertainment while living in Denver. With 8 professional sports teams, you'll find someone to root for year-round. Denver also has all major leagues covered as far as NFL, NBA, MLB, and also plays host to some smaller sports leagues such as rugby, lacrosse, and roller derby. For those who want to play sports, amateur and rec leagues are all over the map. Number 11, we have some fantastic educational opportunities in Denver. The city of Denver offers abundant educational opportunities, and it's higher ranked as an innovative public school choice program. Denver is also home to several universities, including the University of Colorado at Denver, which is ranked number 85 among all U.S. institutions, and CSU Fort Collins, which is also known to be the biggest college party town. Number 12, we have recreational marijuana, which is now legal. This may not be a pro for everyone, but for those who indulge in recreational or medical marijuana use, legalizing marijuana is definitely a part of living in Denver. Currently, only a few states allow recreational use of marijuana, which Colorado legalized back in 2012. Cons of moving to Denver. Moving to Denver has its advantages, that's for sure. Before you make the move, you should carefully consider all the possible disadvantages of moving to Denver as well. Here's a quick list of some cons that I put together in reference to moving to Denver. Number 1, it doesn't get talked about enough, the high altitude adjustment. Denver sits at an altitude more than 5,000 feet above sea level, earning its kind of mantra of 5280 or the Mile High City. And although this makes for amazing views, it can also be quite challenging to adjust to, especially if you're just moving to Colorado. You'll need to allow time to acclimate to the higher climate and also the thinner air that goes with that. Some people initially do suffer from altitude sickness, which can be quite unpleasant, but it typically fades away in about a day or two as your body adjusts. Rising house costs. You'll find a ton of activities that cater to millennials, such as breweries, restaurants, small local shops, and some really badass street art. 23% of our population consists of millennials, making it one of the best cities for millennials in the country. So if you're looking for a city with a young and hip attitude, and one that is open to many types of lifestyles, Denver may be it for you. Rising house costs. Although not as expensive as some of the top cities, such as LA, San Francisco, and New York, housing costs in Denver still exceed the national average, and many households of average mean. While tech jobs and other higher paying positions can typically support the going rent rates, many families are forced to live outside of the city, where rent and housing costs are much lower. The cost of housing within the city of Denver currently sits more than 30% up compared to the national average. The growing population further complicates this matter, with the average home sitting at $530,000. Moving to Denver to buy a home may take some finessing. In fact, Denver currently has the 10 highest home prices in the country. Number 3, lack of public transportation. The truth of the matter is it will be very hard to get around Denver without having a car while living in Denver. Although the city does offer public transportation via bus, Uber, light rail, they have a limited range that doesn't extend much beyond the city's center if you use public transportation. Also, using public transportation while living in Denver can substantially add to not only more money, but more time due to the infrequently scheduled routes. Families living on the outskirts or the suburbs of Denver have little to no access to public transportation, and commuting, even small distances like bikes and walking, may be impractical during snowy months, which we're in about 6 months out of the year. Number 4, nightmare traffic. Denver averages about 17 million visitors per year, which definitely plays a toll in the bombarded highways. There's a lot of folks flying to the city, which really impact city streets and highways. With a constantly growing population both within the city and surrounding suburbs, traffic is becoming more and more congested, which you can't turn your head to. Number 5, long winter months. For snow fans or snow lovers, Denver can be a dream, but even winter lovers can definitely get tired of the amount of snow that Denver gets. It can be super exhausting. We're typically in our snowy months anywhere between November through April, which means 6 months of the year spent in snow. So definitely something to be taking into consideration. Not to mention we have some pretty intense thunder as well as hailstorms in those winter months that also play culprit to some intense weather. This also makes not having a garage pretty non-negotiable for someone like me. I want my car away, especially when those thunderstorms and hail hit. Con number 6, not only are we increasing in size, but also population. As I've mentioned several times, Denver is constantly and currently experiencing some serious growth. There's a lot of positive aspects to a growing city, but there's also a handful of growing pains, and the traffic situation continues to worsen with the growing population, which definitely contributes to it, as well as the smog in the city. Number 7, infrastructure issues. Denver is definitely a smaller city that has rapidly morphed into a larger one, which has created a ton of problems, especially with infrastructure, as the city tries to keep up, but it's definitely hard. We're seeing issues with not only our roads, water systems, but also electrical grids. And these are just a few of the industries which are struggling to catch up with the influx of people moving to Denver. The increased attention on infrastructure could ultimately lead to higher taxes to address these issues, which could potentially affect you. Not to mention the current delays and frustrations caused by aging infrastructure and construction definitely play toll in your daily commute. Number 8, sport-oriented culture. The culture of Denver is heavily focused on outdoors and sports. For those who aren't into athletics or outdoor recreation, whether you're rooting for a team or participating, it can be difficult to kind of break in and find some friends if you're coming here without family or friends. Just to touch on a few things as we wrap up this video, I think the key points here are we have some amazing landscapes and backdrops. We do have legalized marijuana, abundance of sunshine, as well as a reasonable cost of living. We have a thriving restaurant and beer scene, and it's a prime location for not only travel, but you also have a promising job market if you potentially move here. There you have it, a few of the pros and cons of living in the Mile High city of Denver, Colorado. I will go ahead and wrap this video up. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe. If you're in need of my assistance and you're potentially looking at moving, relocating, or even potentially investing in the Denver housing market, I would love to help you and earn your business. Reach out anytime. I will leave my social links listed down below, as well as my email address. If you have any questions or if there is something that I did not touch on that you would like me to further explain, reach out to me or throw it in the comments. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will end this video. Have a good one, guys. Bye.